Hello everybody, I hope everyone is doing fantastic today. Welcome to 223 Frank the Tank channel, and today I'll be doing the 1 year in review on my VIRPIL VFX grip. So I finally got this bad boy in about a year ago now. This was the first pre-order. I have unit number 2 actually, and I want to just give my overall talk about what how I feel about this grip and any complaints I have. So let's start with the pros. After a year and hundreds, if not thousands, of flight hours on it, everything still feels very solid. DLC is great. This is great. This paddle is awesome. Nothing really got loose or felt different than when I first got it. It's always been a very solid joystick. Obviously the VIRPIL warbird base, it's very precise. It's got a lot of I guess it's called resolution, and overall it's just a very precise, good stick. Obviously this is for the F14 Tomcat, and even though I fly other jets and planes at DCS, I mostly fly the F14. Here's my plane. It's got my name on it. This from my squadron, the Black Knights. So I mostly fly the F14. And you'll notice that if you try to fly an A10, F18, F16, you are kind of limited with the stick. I do it because, I don't feel like getting the Hornet or the Warhog stick, even though it's compatible with this base. I haven't felt like getting it. So you can fly modern jets with this stick. It's just a lot more limited. But overall, honestly, for the things I do in DCS and the amount of precision I need, this stick is awesome. This base is awesome. And it just feels really awesome when I'm, in a mission and, I'm going after a bandit. And I'm close. I'm switching to my sidewinders or switching down to my guns. At first, I thought the distance was really far, and I wasn't really comfortable with switching, but you do kind of get used to it. I think overall the ergonomics are really nice. I've never felt uncomfortable with a stick. I've never complained about reaching anything. I just had a hard time getting used to this weapon select at first, but now it's kind of second nature. And this is your flare / DLC button. Nose wheel steering, DLC, your trim, and your pickle button. And honestly, it all feels great. Now that I'm used to it, it's an awesome stick. So now, I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. I'm just going to talk about a bit of the cons. Now, I'm not sure if this is because this is literally the second stick they've ever made for the VFX, but I've always had this big gap in between the plastic molding. And it's not like I could feel it or anything, once it's in my hand, it really doesn't affect me. But it's just like a little bit of an eyesore, having that gap right there, which is interesting because the rest of the molding on the stick is extremely nice and sleek. There's no rough edges anywhere. But just that one little, gap, and you kind of squeeze it together, but it doesn't really stay there. So maybe I could try a little bit of super glue, but honestly, I just kind of leave it that way. Another complaint that I wasn't even aware of until Jabbers made a point of it in his original review from a year ago. This little bolt right here sticks out, and it is sharp if you push your finger over it. But being completely honest with you guys, your fingers will never be down there, ever. If you're flying with a stick, it'll never be anywhere near. Look, the closest thing is my pinky on this, pinky button. Otherwise, your finger's never going to be down there. So, for me, it's not a real complaint. It's kind of like, VIRPIL just has to be more careful. Maybe shave down this bolt or use a different size. And lastly, some I had a problem with for a while. And the interesting thing about this is that the only reason I had an issue is because VIRPIL installed this nut backwards. So what was happening is that every couple hours of flight time with a stick and using this paddle, it would loosen up the bolt that's inside, and then the nut will come off. So I just had to take that out, flip it, put it back in, tighten it, you can't put it too tight because then it will actually adjust how much friction is on this pedal. But once I set it up to how I like it, it's honestly, it doesn't fall out anymore. I haven't had issues in at least 400, 500 hours of flight time with this stick. I'll just quickly mention the VIRPIL mount that I got afterwards. I originally was using the JP mount, which is really good too, but this is way more solid. The mounting system leaves a little bit to be desired. I'm not a fan of this twisting style where you have to kind of loosen it or tighten it and clamp it onto the table. I kind of like how on the JP, you just pull the thing down and it just sucks it down, and you pull it up and it sucks it up, and it kind of just adjusts it so it fits perfectly every time. It's not a huge complaint. It was when I first got it, it was kind of annoying, but after having this base for 800 plus hours, this mount for 800 plus hours, it really doesn't bother me anymore. It's just second nature. One last complaint that I guess is both the base and the stick is that this ring down here, this connection ring, sometimes, not usually very often, it will sometimes get loose and I just have to twist it again. But the lockout mechanism for the twist rudder, which I don't need because I've got a pair of rudder pedals, is very great. I haven't had any issues. I had to tighten it once, so I locked it in when I got my rudder pedals, and I've only had to tighten it again once because I was in the middle of flying, and then it twisted on me. And as you notice, because I'm center mount, here's my seat, trying not to show my crotch. Because it's center mount, I've got to twist it kind of like in real life because that's more ergonomic. Because if you're like sitting like this, you're gonna fucking get carpal tunnel syndrome. But the way it's mounted in the plane is sideways like this, and it's super comfortable, to be honest. Got a good amount of room. It doesn't have any issues on my desk, honestly. It's overall just a great stick. I say if you're an F14 Tomcat fan and you really want to dedicate money to a specific Tomcat stick, the VIRPIL VFX is the way to go. And the only reason I'd recommend this over, let's say, what are they called, the VKB, which I'm not harping on VKB. I've literally got VKB rudder pedals. I think they're great too. The only reason I'd say this is advantageous to the VKB is the fact that you've got the Warbird base, which could accommodate any of the Thrustmaster products. So the Thrustmaster F18 HOTAS and the Thrustmaster F16/A10 Warthog HOTAS stick. That's the only advantage that this has over VKB. Now, once again, I haven't felt the VKB F14 stick. I haven't personally handled a VKB base. Looks-wise, I think this looks better than the VKB. The VKB one looks a little bit more toy-y. This one looks a little bit more straight out of the jet. But overall, that's the only reason I recommend the VIRPIL over the VKB. Like I said, if I had my hands on a VKB stick, I'd be able to tell you the differences. I'm just going based off of looks. So overall, I'd say if you're an F14 fan, go for it. It's honestly a great stick. I've now got probably at least over 1,000 hours flying the Tomcat. And I want to say the majority of those hours are with the stick, and I say it's well worth it. Anyways, if you stuck throughout this whole video, I appreciate it. If you'd like to like and subscribe and support, I know I don't post very often, but that's just because I'm kind of a busy guy now with COVID, especially being busy at work. So have a great day. See you.